assume I'm live right now. So let's get started. Just a couple of LeetCode questions. I'm doing a bit of revision. So we're going to start with 2 pointers since I've been doing arrays and strings by myself. So we'll just continue. I'm going to do like 2, maybe 3 problems, and then we'll move forward. Maybe more if I feel like we're speedrunning them, but we'll see. So I haven't done LeetCode in a while, so I might be rusty. Okay, so one's valid palindrome. Okay. Given a string S, return true if it's a palindrome, otherwise return false. Palindrome is a string that reads the same forward and backward. It's also case sensitive, ignores all non-alphanumeric characters. So alphanumeric characters consist of A to Z, both capital and lowercase, or both uppercase and lowercase, and numbers 0 to 9. So anything other than that we want to get rid of. So first let's check if the string is null. If S is null, or if S is empty, we're going to go ahead and just return false, or you could say true technically, since it's true because it is a palindrome. It really just depends on, if this was an interview, it depends on who is actually, interviewing you and what they decide on. But yeah, for me, I think the absence of any characters technically makes it a palindrome, because you can read nothing the same way forward and backward like a palindrome. So technically, like, if there was nothing here, it's both forwards and backwards already. So yeah, I would count that as a palindrome. So beyond that, I think kind of normalizing the string is the next step. So we have S being like this string here. What we want to do is we're not going to force it to be capital or lowercase, because I guess we could, because this W is still yeah, so we're counting this W the same as this W. So yeah, so we say it's case insensitive, so whether we turn it all capitals or all lowercase, it shouldn't matter. So what I would do is we would just say S would equal to S, and then we would want to kind of filter out all the non-alphanumeric characters first. So I think it's replace all is the function that we would use, but I genuinely can't remember the structure for that, so I'm going to just quickly cross-reference. So string.replace all. Good job with 17. Okay, replaces all. So we need to provide a regex and the actual replacement, which is fine. So I think this is the correct structure. So we have this, so anything that isn't, so we use this caret here, specify that we have that, or specify what we want to negate. So anything that isn't what we're about to provide. So being A to Z, both capitals, and so both uppercase and lowercase, so lowercase, uppercase, and then 0 to 9. And we want to replace that with an empty string, meaning we're going to take, anytime we come across this, we just want to remove it, essentially. Then we're just going to turn that to lowercase, and that should be fine. And I guess we would, because this empty space counts as a character, so we don't need to provide like a trim or removing of white space, because, or removal of white space, because it's not A to Z or 0 to 9, so it should be removed as well. So yeah, that would just be an extra function being run that's taking up some time and space. So yeah, it's extra memory being used for no reason. So what I would do next is just actually start the algorithm. So Since we're in 2 pointers, I guess what we could do is we would have a pointer at the left of the string and at the right being the end of the string, so the length -1, that's the index. So then while left is less than right, so while they haven't crossed over, we want to check if the characters at both aren't equal, then we return false. So if s character at left is not equal to s character at right, we are going to return false. Otherwise, we would say left plus plus, right minus minus. And if we make it to the end of this loop after they've, so essentially when these cross over, we should be at the center of the string. So like in this instance here, they'd cross over at this A. So once they get to there, because that means like essentially we're stopping when they are at the same index directly. So yeah, yeah. So if we make it out of this loop, once they're equal and it hasn't returned false, we can return true. So we should be good. What's wrong here? Oh, there's no equals assignment. Oh, yeah, and also I called them Eleanor. That's my bad. Okay, yeah, perfect. Not to be critical, but this UI is kind of interesting. Okay, let's move on. Next problem. 2 sum 2. I guess. I'm not sure if that was on the list, or maybe I just overlooked it. Oh yeah, it's just the naming is weird. Okay. It's okay. Okay, so given an array of integers numbers that is sorted in non-decreasing order, so meaning we get an array of numbers, so non-decreasing means it's never going to be like or 4 3 2 1, but it could be 4 4 4 4. So it's either increasing or staying the same. That's the order. It's a bit too loud for me. Okay. So, now decreasing, return the indices one indexed of 2 numbers, index 1, index 2, such that they add up to a given target number, and index 1 is less than index 2. Note that index 1 and index 2 cannot be equal, therefore you must not use the same element twice. So we can't use the same element, but we can use the same like value, of course, if they're the same. So I guess what we could do here is just do a loop going forward. So it's one indexed. So what we could do, rather than like doing the approach that we did for the last problem, where we have one pointer at the left and one at the end of the array, or one pointer at the first index and one at the last index, what we could do is just have one at the first index of the array and then one at the second, and then move forward that way. So for example, with the example problem or example input we were given, we have numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and a target of 3. So what I would do is essentially just have 1 here and 2 here. So we're going to check, are they equal to the target? They are. So then we would just return the index +1 because this is index 0. So we'd have to add 1 because we want it to be 1 indexed, and this. So then we would return an array like this. So the answer would be 1, 2. Okay, yeah. It's interesting that that's a medium problem. But yeah, so I guess it just is what it is. So say if numbers is 1 or 0, return array. We can return an empty array, or we could return like an array like indices -1, -1. I feel like that makes more sense since we're actually following the structure of the problem. But we could, yeah, just have int I. We never want them to be the same, so we would just start. So simply numbers dot length I++, and then for j 0, or j would be I+1, because we never want them to touch. J is less than so, and j would be greater. And here we would say if numbers I plus numbers j is equal to target ever, we would just return wrong. So we return we're gonna return a new array with I+1, A+1. Otherwise, we're just going to return a new array -1, -1 if we can't find it, and then that should work. What's wrong here? Oh wait, yeah, it's wrong. Yeah, there we go. The bracket though. Let me make this bigger for this string, maybe. Yeah. Awesome. I wonder if that's optimal. Maybe it's not optimal. That's why it was easier than I thought. So I'm trying to think, like, yeah, we're using no extra space. So, all right, let's see. Yeah, so decrementing the values, I wonder if, like, I guess technically that could be faster, but it depends on the, like, value you're looking for. It depends on the value you're looking for, though. Because if we're looking for like a higher value, we start at the lower indices, we're going to be walking our way down. But then how do we handle the shrink? Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. So yeah, I guess that is more efficient, even though it's technically the same time complexity. So we could do here instead is still not gonna let them cross. So yeah, basically the same as the last one. So just right being numbers dot length. Okay, better yet. Let's say it's n is equal to numbers that length. Say Excel something. So this will be an out small. And then while left is less than right, let's say let's say each target is equal to, oh wait, no, say sum is equal to numbers left plus numbers right. We say if sum is equal to target, we would turn into array with left plus 1, right plus 1. Say else if sum is less than target, would increase left, else right, minus minus, and that should be good. Awesome. So that should be faster, theoretically. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it was. Not by much, for the test cases at least, but yeah, overall it should be. Tempted to do one more, but I kind of want to do the project work instead because it's just a lot more interesting. Because splitting to doing threesome, obviously be doable, but it's basically just the same as this problem, just with extra steps. So I don't know. Yeah, I think I'll leave it. I don't want to do it, so I'm not going to do it. So while I'm working towards what I want to do, let me just pull up the project and then we'll continue. Yeah, let's get started. All right. Okay. Don't want to have it in the way. Okay. Okay, so yesterday I think where I left it off was I was gonna add more to this. So we want to work on adding contrast as a setting. The only thing is I don't know the math for contrast, so I'm gonna pull that up. Adding a contrast setting. Yeah, so basically everywhere we do get an error is where I want to add that in. Canvas editor, have settings, but we don't have brightness being added. So we say read-only settings, but where do we actually declare that brightness is there? That's argument of type brightness. Oh yeah, color settings. So we add that in. Brightness, contrast. Oh, I think it's one of the functions that we have here. We mentioned bright. Let me get what's this doing in the way. Okay, so we already explicitly mentioned brightness. Ah, there we go. So let's say contrast. Okay, that fixes that. But we don't actually have like an explicit mention of any brightness here. Right, so Yeah, so let's look this up. Oh wait, stream. Oh yeah, that's better. Let's see. Steam spine. Let's see. Yeah, so each pixel value I is usually in the range of 0 to 255. Okay, the same as the brightness. So I do is a refactor to make this easier. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the brightness into its own function that we're not gonna export, called const y brightness. And then parameters are going to be the value and the brightness. Which is also a number. And it should just be everything that's already here. Actually, let's just yeah, let's just like start fresh. So offset go to brightness like we did up here, like 100 times 255. Plus offset. Then we'll have one for line contrasts. No, dark contrast. contrast. So what was the math back here? So it's interesting. Times contrast plus 255. You add another bracket like this. 255. Two, so yeah, it's 2 there. I have an extra bracket somewhere that I don't need. Let me just delete that. Okay, so we'll say let's offset. Contrasts. 2.5. We wrap that there. Awesome. Divided by 255 times 259 minus contrast. So I want to see how the math looks here. So C is equal to 1. Oh yeah, it's just like the equation up here. Yeah, okay. Awesome. Just returning value times C plus 20. And then actually applying this what we had before. Let me format first if I can. Probably not, because we have error smart. Format that. Let's say just I'm gonna adjust by a value. So this is where the slider is actually going to be changing things. Let's say let v. So v is equal to y. Brightness using v. So we're applying that value to brightness, so increasing the brightness by that much. And then v is equal to y. Contrast. V. Contrast. Awesome. Then we return 5 because we don't want it to exceed 255. Okay. And then the last thing we want to do in the function is return the new values. So returning this, just color dot r color dot g color dot p. Yeah, so we don't actually have like any errors unless I go back to page and there's a problem. So I think what we could do is just add the contrast slider next, and that should be fine. And then if all is good there, we can work on the saturation and then maybe implement like a color wheel. Hopefully. Who knows? So let's take a look at the slider implementation. And I'll obviously run the project to see how we can get that going. Min is gonna be the same. I think we left contrast out of no, I think we're good actually. Settings not contrast. So we don't want to actually affect the setting or brightness, so that's why we're just going to change the previous contrast instead of the entire thing. So that's why we use the rest operator here. So then our contrast should be set settings. Disaster. Yeah, so let's run this, use the test image, and see how it looks. Oh, actually, yeah, we need to fix that. So the initial contrast value should be 0. Cool. Alright. Yeah, let's run that. Oh, we actually don't have any label for this either. So let's say contrasts. I want to pick a picture with color so we can test that out. So let's take this one as an example. Pick a funny one. Okay, cool. So brightness, awesome, works perfectly. Contrast is working as well. Awesome. love that, love that. Okay. So I guess we can move on to saturation. So we can be done with that color stuff for now. So let's just actually saturation math comes next. Okay, so this seems to be more complex, just the math in general. Yeah, so let's go back to here. So what we're gonna do first is const luminance equal to r. Let's see. Oh, okay. It's very specific. 126 times r plus 0.7152 times g plus 0.072 times. Okay, so we're gonna unlock saturation now. And apply that. So const apply saturation value, or rather color should be saturation. Const S saturation. Divided by 100 plus 1. say const L, so luminance. So we want to apply luminance to color.r. And sorry. Plus color.r. So this. And up here, we're going to apply that after here. So let's see. So before we return the clamp, what happens? Yes, we're going to remove the returns. Rather than doing that here, we're going to apply the contrasts. So that's for adjustment, that's fine. And then for our color transform, we're going to not return that. We're going to say results. It's going to equal this. And then once say that results will now equal application of our saturation on results with the saturation. And then we're going to return the clamp versions of our colors instead. So clamp results dot r. So then just go on. Yeah, so G. Awesome. So this should resolve our problem. Yeah, so we go back to color settings now. Oh yeah, it's because we didn't see that we wanted saturation. That. Okay, where else are we missing? Yeah. Saturation. let's take a look now. Oh, I got rid of the tab. Let's actually take a look now. Is it still running? Yeah, it should be. Oh, okay. Let's go. There's our images there. Brightness works. Contrast works. Okay, saturation and contrast are moving the same, so I must have included, yeah, contrast here. So saturation. So saturation. Yes, perfect. Because you can see if I bring the contrast down, that's contrast. This is saturation. Okay, so the reason I'm doing this rather than using some sort of library to do them is I think the more lightweight this is, the better. Because I don't want to have to download things that I don't need. Okay, so implemented saturation. Didn't make any new files, so we can just. And we have. I should have used the to-do list instead, but it's fine. So much. Done. Done. Hmm. think the next thing I want to do is like a color wheel or something. But I'm debating whether or not I need like to use a library because I want it to look nice, or if I just go ahead with because you know, with stuff like inputting hexes and different forms of color, I don't know, because I want to do it as lightweight as possible, but I'm debating, do I need to complicate it so much that I need to hand code everything, you know? Wait, okay. I think this is one of the few reasons I could use AI here. You say, are there any color wheel libraries? The existing limitations. For the pre-existing implementations for brightness, contrast, saturation, and as a reference, I'll pass in. How do I add files again? Color.ts and apply color transform, and I guess page.tsx and the canvas editor. Okay, so lightweight, React colorful. I'm just gonna take a look at all of them and see. Yes. Okay, that looks good. Okay, so let's go with that. I'm not gonna no, I'm not complicate too much. So let's install apps. Small package. Okay, so how do I use it for real? I mean, we already have color transformation here, so. let's say if I went to color settings and color option, or wanted to add a color option, the color would end up being a string, right? So and so for now, so I don't get any errors, what I could do is, yeah, so we're not popping any errors. So then, for example, it would be like FF for white. But if I want to have it like include alpha, we can have like 0, 0. So this would be like completely transparent, so you wouldn't be able to see it. But I don't think I need that, because if I want to do color correction, that's not going to be including alpha channels, I think. So I think just a regular hex color picker should be okay. So integration plan, installing it. That's what it knows about the library. Okay, so realistically, I could just replace a lot of what I've done with this library, which is kind of makes me feel silly. Excuse me. I added string here by accident. It should be color. That's stupid. Okay, so here, let me first add this. Getting this wired up is gonna be so satisfying. So, sorry, when I get that up, it's. Oh, yeah, did I? No, I didn't. I didn't add it. That's not right. What props? Yeah, there's props there, but we'll worry about that later. I just want to see what it looks like. I guess it might not work without the props, but I don't know that yet. Okay. So what I'd like to do after is just add a button that'll open that instead of just having it there. But you know, we can worry about UI and stuff later. So this has been laid out, but you know, we don't have any way of like adjusting colors yet. So if I picked any of these, you know, it's not going to affect anything. We just have this that's working right now. I'm happy it is. Okay. Let's like, so we added the color prop or color field to our prop here in color.ts and the color settings at least. Let's go to our apply color transform file, or yeah. And then we can add like something for, I guess, tinting a certain color as well. And this won't actually be that complex, I think. So if we have like apply brightness, contrast, saturation, we want to be able to apply tint or something. We're gonna give a color that we want to apply the tint to. We want to give it I guess a strength, which will be a number that we'll multiply it by, but what are we actually applying as well? So Here's the colors, the original. So the original color of the object, we have the color that we want the paints to be, which will also be RGB. So, and then our strength is a number. We're gonna get an RGB returned, and that is our function signature. So next thing we want to do is we basically just want to return an object where R will now become the original color.R with some math done to it. So how do we normalize our strength? So we want this to be, strength is going to be in the range from 0 to 1. So we want it to be times 1 minus strength plus int.r. Right, so the int.r will be times our strength. So like if this was example times 0.3, it's 30% strength. So then G, do the exact same for all of these. So if we're doing the exact same, I should just call it a G, E, E. Awesome. So that's our tint application. Another function here, so we'll be like const apply, or no, not apply, we'll say x to r. So call that gp, or no, sorry. So here this would be a string. So say x. It's a string and text, so it's getting a color back, so RGB would be returned. So const so this math here, so the int equals parse. Parse int x dot slice. Starting after the hashtag. That's its type. This is Okay, so here, when we're actually doing all our stuff, let's say what do I want now? We have something to apply the tint. We have tints next to RGB text, and the result should be equal to results. Tint should be tint and strength. We could just pretend this is the strength. And after that, nothing. Cool. Let's pretend this is it. Let's say costs. Color. Set color. Multi states. String. String or null. Because I don't want it to be set, you know? So let's say color can be stop color. Then you can say, is there a set color? No. Where should it be? Is it? Oh, wrong thing. That's fine. unchanged. We want to add set color. Rather unchanged. Set color to see. Okay, let's look at it and hopefully it looks somewhat right. Okay, yeah, that's not doing anything. Just to quickly figure out what's going on. I'm not going to use it for help. Say don't scope for me. Show me snippets. Snippets here. Right. Just like doesn't change the seats. Set up. TS and TS. Yeah, they're right. They're right. So this part is wrong. It should be 8, and then this should just be as it is. No pun intended. Okay, and then so yeah, let me close that. Adjust this and should not be using set color. Should be using set settings. feels wrong. It should be target value. I don't know why it doesn't let me put that in. Okay, so for some reason it's working, but also not working. So what's this error? Set state, side use effects, but use effect either doesn't have a dependency array or one of the dependencies changes on every error render. It's not worse. So E shouldn't be a string. Oh, right. Yeah, it's because we don't have a, like, see, there's no, like, value. So, yeah, it should be. So it's not really an event happening. So it's there, but how do I check, like, what is changing? Okay, so I'll go again. So no, like, Next.js over here, but I don't have, like, the, yeah, just to be ready. Get image data. So getting this data. It's a lot, but I can read it. Wait, before that, let me actually check it myself, because I didn't actually decide to check the dependency array even though I read it before. Honestly, if it's anything I can actually figure out. So we have a use effect over here, but it passes in settings, so maybe I should pass in settings dot brightness settings, color settings, or not color, everything but color, settings dot saturation, dot contrast. Or rather than that, like, I should just change the function not to rely on color, because color is updating all the time, maybe? Initialize the empty string. When React to colorful receives an empty string, it tries to normalize it with the x, which triggers on change, which updates state, which re-renders the picker, which normalizes again infinitely. Initialize. So would it better? Canvas editor. to apply the tint. Okay, so the issue is that transform pixel. So this can be all their settings. Okay, that's true. And then this says I should just apply something like that instead. The only thing I was worried about is that, is it just gonna, before I change anything, I might just make the tint black, which I don't want. Yeah, see, I'm still getting the same error. Maybe it just didn't register. I could try again. Nah, I definitely did. Okay. Okay, let's see what it was saying. Let me read it. Passed in still empty box. I think it was maxed up there anyway. Alright, no, it was. Oh, I closed it. Silly. I based the empty string with a valid text and I will still get here. Infinite loops likely because settings is a new object reference on every render, and the use effects depends on it. When the color finally fires rapidly on every mouse move, each update creates a new settings object, triggering the effect, which may cause another render cycle. Try wrapping the settings dependency. Either memorize it or switch the use effect dependency to be individual primitive values. See, that's what I was trying to do. See, I had the right idea. Still, like, is that really gonna resolve the error though? That's what I'm thinking. Let's see. Because we have our use effect hook. I'm thinking that if I had brightness settings, contrast, settings saturation. I'm thinking that even though it's obviously giving me this error, but like if I leave it and come back, because we're still gonna be re-rendering the color every single time, yeah, so like obviously it's still gonna come back. Even though it's definitely working. Because we're calling set say inside use effects, but use effect either doesn't have a dependency array or these changes here. Okay, let's see. Never considered the issue could be the library itself. I'll just actually look up if someone has ever had that problem before. Because re-rendering is annoying. I want to avoid that as much as possible. Let's see. React bullet fall. Effects. Error. So maybe it's the hex I provided. No, it couldn't be because I used all zeros. And 6 zeros is fine. How about I like reset settings like this? Wait, where do I add that? After this, right? Or here? No, yeah, after set settings. I want to know if I can just like add a console. That causes an error. That's annoying. Right here. Shouldn't I be able to like just do multiple things in here? I want to change. Like, it might just be like, oh, I got console log. I'll have to just log the color. That's fine. I feel like it just made this part up. I'm gonna look that up just to make sure, because I feel like it's not hallucinating, but I feel like it's just BSing with that. Let's save this. Yeah, so there's like no there's no actual issues with it. So why would it just make that up? Because it's a library that's 4 years old. Like, I mean, this version is 4 years old. It's a 4-year-old library. Let's look at issues. I don't know. I don't know. Origins. But it's there. Decouple the picker from settings. So keep the local color state in the color picker. Okay, so I should have something like that here. So color, set color. Okay, I think this has gone on long enough for me to add this is the last thing I do here. So we'll say string. The issue is that color isn't being passed in, so it's color or undefined. So if I made it a required field, what happens? I'm gonna get an error in Canvas Editor, no? No, because we passed in settings. So no issues there. No issues anywhere, actually. So just look up. I wonder, since this is the main page, it should just work. Because I want to know why we're getting that. Cool. So just let me look at the format. Yeah, so oh, we got nothing. Yeah, no error. Oh, okay, there we go. Ooh, that's a smart idea. So can I so how about we do something like this? We have a set set color. this will be the same. So then here we're going to use then I'm going to add this prop here. Okay. So this is where we had previous. Rather, set settings. X. Previous color X. Oh wait, no, this should be. Yeah, that makes sense. So now if I bring this up, so that means we won't actually get an update on the color until where's my console? Until we actually lift our fingers off the mouse. So we're not going to be updating every second. Doesn't matter. Right, so what I should actually be looking for is the shouldn't be. Yeah, see, it's still giving us the error. So that means something isn't updated properly. Oh, that's right. Okay, let's try this one more time. Yeah, so we don't get the live update is where I actually wanted to be. So I don't know. I'll figure it out another day. Cool updates. Or change updates, but it's more. Yeah, live updates. Okay, I'll figure it out.